So after that, I went on a hunt to find out the real flat earth content, where people are committed to what they are saying, not as a publicity stunt or anything. And then, to my shock, I found some literally 100 plus curvature tests, and I could not find anything wrong with any of those tests. I mean, they are so well designed and so commonsensical. It's absolutely awesome. So then the struggle continued. I mean, I didn't sleep much for several days actually. So the struggle continued, and slowly it dawned on me that it's inescapable. The conclusion is inescapable. Then
my story, kind of, I have not made it a story, but I talk to my friends and people who are flat earthers here in India, and pretty much I tell them the same thing, that I had a few weeks of sleepless nights, but after those few weeks, at least I was sure that we are not living on a magical spinning ball in space.
yeah, true.
The Earth isn't round, it's flat. How do you know? I've observed it in all my travels over Europe. It's flat. Everywhere it's flat.
So, I never really welcome my viewers or even address my viewers. I just talk to people and upload it. My viewers know that I'm talking to people. Still,
Yeah, that's a good way of doing it. Yeah.
for this one,
Nice.
I am going to address my viewers for a change. So, all my loving viewers, thank you for your 50-60 views that I get on my videos of late. Still, I know those who listen to my videos really like them. So, for a change, here we are with Mr. Srivatsan Ramakrishnan.
No. My name is. I'm tuning into from my son's laptop. So
Okay, so
my name is,
from what I know,
Ramakrishnan. Yeah.
your name is Ramakrishnan Selvarajan.
Yes.
Okay, welcome to my show, sir. I am going to start a new series with this one where I am starting to interact with flat earthers in India, and this is going to be Flat Earth interview number 1 with a very experienced and knowledgeable flat earther, from as much as I know about him, Mr. Ramakrishnan. So, sir, would you like to tell our viewers about your flat earth journey and what we call our awakening story? A little background.
Yeah. I mean, First, thank you very much for having me on your show. It's a pleasure. And there aren't many flat earthers I know in India, so I'm very happy to talk to somebody who is on the same wavelength. So my journey on flat earth started when somebody mentioned about flat earth in a vegan India forum on Facebook. So, but my first reaction was, what the heck is this? I mean, he's talking about the earth being flat in this day and the age of what is space travel and all that stuff. But he was very adamant. He was very clear what he is talking about. And then with other people also, I also trolled him heavily. And then I thought I'll teach him a lesson, right? So I'll teach him a lesson and not to blubber like this in a forum where thousands of people are there. So I trolled him till the end until he fell silent. I said, okay, fine. So he said, okay, fine. If you don't want to research it, fine, leave it. So I went off, but then it stuck in my head. You know, that somehow this arrogance of being highly educated, having done a post-graduation in IIT. So all that stupid nonsense has gone into my head at that time, right? So I said, okay, fine. Let me first figure out whether this earth is really flat or what the heck is this. So I went on and Googled flat earth, this one, and then sure enough, this flat earth society popped up. And then the first thing they said was, okay, this earth is a flat disk and it is rushing through space. That turned me off immediately. I said, this is impossible. This is total bullshit. So I said, okay, fine. This is more than enough time wasted on this and I'm off. So, but it continued in my head. Then after some time, the next search result popped up was this National Geographic, where they were doing an experiment of this boat going over the curve. So I said, wow, and they said there are going to be some flat earthers also. I said, wow, this is going to be fun. So I want to watch this, and I was watching it. And then as sure enough, the lines were going down into the water as the boat was going away and away. And then so I thought, okay, this is more than sufficient. I was about to close the video, but then suddenly one small frame passed across in which I could see the boat on the side view. Because for a brief moment, the boat wobbled and then turned a little bit, and then I saw the full boat on the side view. I said, what, how can you see the boat when the lines were already into the water? I mean, the boat must have completely disappeared, right? Then I saw that again and again and again. I replayed until, and then that really, what do you say, shook me off. So what I saw was impossible. I mean, that should have been impossible, right? But it was there right in front of my eyes, and that really shook me off. So that is when I realized, okay, this is how the mainstream people are cheating everybody. So after that, I went on a hunt to find out the real flat earth content, where people are committed to what they are saying, not as a publicity stunt or anything. And then, to my shock, I found some literally 100 plus curvature tests, and I could not find anything wrong with any of those tests. I mean, they are so well designed and so commonsensical. It's absolutely awesome. So then the struggle continued. I mean, I didn't sleep much for several days actually. So the struggle continued, and slowly it dawned on me that it's inescapable. The conclusion is inescapable. Then
my story, kind of, I have not made it a story, but I talk to my friends and people who are flat earthers here in India, and pretty much I tell them the same thing, that I had a few weeks of sleepless nights, but after those few weeks, at least I was sure that we are not living on a magical spinning ball in space.
Yeah, true. So that after that, my first reaction was anger. I said, how I'm at that time I'm 47. I mean, I've been screwed for 47 years. Oh, that's something I could not accept at all. So I said, okay, so if this is the case, I'm going to take my revenge, right? So I went on to the Facebook and registered in all the flat earth groups out there. I know most of them are filled with shills, right? So I thought I'm going to give them hell for this one. And I did for quite some time, but then it absolutely drained me out. For a couple of months or more than 4 months, I was literally posting on every flat earth group, and I could not do anything on my work. I went for a toss and couldn't do anything. But then it took me that much time for me to get over that anger, that one. So then I calmed down. Okay, people are going to be people, and let me see what I can do to spread this knowledge. But then that was a starting point. So when I also realized that people are so brainwashed that they are absolutely not, most of them are absolutely not open to this kind of an idea. Absolutely. Even my college groups were absolutely unwelcoming of my attempts to have these kind of discussions. So even today.
Before some friend of yours or some acquaintance of yours told you about flat earth, would you have considered yourself to be a conspiracy theorist, a big time conspiracy theorist, or were you into conspiracies at all before you heard the words flat earth?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. So I was a regular guy, right? So I'm just a regular guy who has been just flowing with the waters, right? As the water flows. So I was just flowing, I mean, having an education, I mean, becoming an engineer and earning my living, reasonably good job and stuff like that. That's it. So I have never been a conspiracy theorist, and in fact, I have never got an opportunity to talk to anyone like of that kind. You know, I was in MNC environment where everything is given to you on a golden plate. So you never tend to explore anything as true or false. You assume that everything is true, whatever you believe is true, and that is how the world is. So it is absolutely a golden cage. So flat Earth really shook me out of that sleep. Whoa, big time. And it was a painful one. I mean, even now, it is a struggle. I mean, knowing that I live among people who are absolutely unawake to what is the reality of our world is quite something.
And before flat Earth, what would you have considered yourself to be, an atheist or an agnostic or maybe a believer?
No, I'm a regular South Indian God believing person. Okay, so even now I believe in God. I mean, there must be somebody who created this reality, right? Before that, I have not really given much thought to the concept of God and stuff like that. So whatever my parents and my grandparents, my family told me about, and some of the extraordinary events in my life, I said there must be some power which is guiding me. That much was clear to me. But I never thought I would be cheated regarding the very reality of our physical world. So, that component was entirely missing.
But weren't you influenced by our educational system? They teach about evolution, and basically everything that they teach is to drive a person away, drive a kid away from the very concept of there being a creator, right? So weren't you influenced by it?
Yeah, I mean, before the flat Earth, my worldview was extremely clear. Okay, if that makes any sense, it doesn't make any sense right now to me. But at that time, it made perfect sense, right? Everything is in place, all the way back to the Big Bang. Okay, so the atomic theory, Big Bang, that is how we have come. A theory of evolution. Oh my God! So I have hooked up everything. So everything in this matrix, all points connected, all I's and dotted, all T's are crossed. I'm done. Okay, so all I had to do was just earn my living and continue into my grave. That's it. Okay. But then flat Earth came and changed everything. Absolutely top down. Yeah.
And so once you enter the rabbit hole, there is no coming back, right? It is like bottomless. So from flat Earth, what all other areas have you explored? I mean, beyond flat Earth. What do you
naturally after flat Earth
are some other important topics of equal importance as flat Earth?
Oh yeah, after that naturally was the theory of evolution. Because if the very nature of our world is very different, then what about evolution, right? That didn't take me much time to figure out that is an absolute scam. So I went through the original works of this fellow, right? Darwin. So whatever work he was supposed to have written, and the original textbooks, I still have it somewhere. So I went through all that. It became very clear that he was just cataloging everything, and he was finding patterns in whatever the species were. And he really never claimed that the theory of evolution is true. Okay, so if you read his books, you are simply proposing, putting forward a pattern recognition he has done. That's all he ever did. So all this theory of evolution was constructed later on by all the people, and it has taken shape maybe about 50, 60 years ago, and it has gone very deep into our common psyche right now. So after the theory of evolution came a whole lot of scams, and out of which the third main thing was our true history. Okay, so it also dawned on me that our true history was absolutely not at all like what it is. So the person who woke me up was the erstwhile CEO or MD of Citibank. He used to give a lot of talks again about the real history of India. I forgot his name. Maybe I have to look it up again because it's been quite a while since I saw his videos. But then he woke me up. Then I saw his videos, and it was very clear that he was visiting the actual historic sites in India, and he was presenting evidence that whatever is written in the textbook is all garbage. So Ashoka, a person called Ashoka, never actually existed. So that was also amazing, right? That was also amazing. So then that took me into rabbit hole, and then that took me again to Star Force. Then this one, right, Tartaria, and so many other things about ancient real history and so on. So I have made a couple of videos on those. I have put it up in my channel.
Oh.
So, but for most people, it is just too much. They simply can't relate to anything what I was saying. But nevertheless, I mean, what you observe is what you observe.
So if I have your permission, I would like to get all those links from you, your YouTube channel and maybe your Facebook page or anything that you have, and I'll put them in the description of this video here.
Yeah. You just look for Ramakrishnan Selvaraj Awake. So you will hit my channel.
Sure,
Yeah.
I'll do that. And I have a few things that I would like to get into, but right now, since we are at the topic of the true history of mankind and the earth, so would you like to give a brief idea about what conclusions you have reached so far based on your research? What is
Yeah,
the
the first. Yeah, sure. See, the first thing to understand is that there is no dating technology that we have. Okay, we have no dating technology right now. There is no science behind it, nothing. It is absolutely a bogus way of, cheating people again. So if you don't have the dating technology, then what is left is what you can observe today is what you have. That's it. You have to discard all the nonsense description and history and whatever thing they are talking about, right? So that you have to discard. So if you really do that, and then you dive into the details of Star Force especially, right? That is a very starting point for anyone who wants to really find out any clues to our past. So then the Tartaria, the erased worldwide civilization, which completely erased, right? So that and so on.
So basically, sir, what about archaeological evidences? We get some tablets from a few thousand years ago, let's say 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, and there is some matching text in many other contemporary of that time history, which also corroborates the fact that yes, maybe some king really did exist. So why can't we be sure about those things, and to what extent can we go forensically in order to search truth in archaeological evidences?
Yeah, first thing is you cannot say anything as a 1,000-year-old thing. We simply have no technology to determine what is the age of some material. Okay, we don't. So first, that is the first understanding one person must have. I have presented extensive research on that with complete scientific references. You can go and download my presentation PDF. You can check out all the links yourself. No problem, right? You will come to understand that it is all, we don't have anything. No carbon dating, no argon dating, nothing, and none of that sort works. Okay.
Hello? So you cut out. There seems to be a problem.
An onion can be sliced either pole to pole or orbitally, and the direction chosen.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I lost connection. Yeah. So from my research, what I know now is that there was a worldwide civilization that existed about 200 years ago, until 200 years ago. So this worldwide civilization was across the world, literally. There must have been at least 50 billion people, or more than that, at least, or maybe 1 trillion people across the earth. So right now we are talking about 7.5 billion. I don't even think that is a real number. The real number of people must be about 4 billion or so. Okay. So something cataclysmic happened about 200 years ago, maybe early 1800s, in which the entire surface of the earth got scorched completely. Scorched meaning with with some kind of energy weapon or some kind of energy thing. I do not understand exactly what it is, but the temperatures were so high, it melted cement structures, steel, everything, practically everything got melted. And very strangely, the temperatures at the bottom side of buildings were much higher than the temperature at the top of buildings. Okay, so there is a lot of evidence for this one. So
all these things sound good if at least we are talking in 1,000 years gaps, but you saying 200 years is a little too much to digest, because I'll let you know, because even in South India and even in my place in West Bengal, my family members have a list of many of their forefathers till, I don't know, 14, 20 generations. Now 200 years ago, if something of this sort actually really did exist, then why wouldn't it show up anywhere, even in our local history of our villages? Or even you can understand in South India also we have a very rich culture. I also had another question. Do you not believe right now that Tamil is the oldest language on earth? Being from Tamil Nadu.
So at least one of the oldest languages, yeah, that much sure. Tamil must be one of the oldest languages. But Tapas, my main issue is that we really cannot guess what happened along the way. Okay, maybe humans have been put onto some kind of a hypnosis, state of hypnosis, because the physical evidence clearly shows us that this cataclysmic event happened across the world. It's very clear. And I can show, if you look at my into my videos, I have presented enormous amount of evidence. So we cannot rule out any of that. So if that is the case, we have to correlate it with what these memories that you are talking about, right? We do not know how these things are to be correlated. I myself do not know. We have to work on those things.
Okay, very nice to know. All these topics that you just broached, you just took the name of those things, but if one wants to really dig deeper into those things, it is going to take months to explore one such topic, and you just at least 5-6 such topics. Anyways, I have also looked into all these things, and this timeline thing, I am still not very sure that whether we can say something 200 years ago really did happen of this sort. But yes, Tartaria existing and there being some cataclysmic event recent time in the future, yes, there's enough evidence to prove that. Buildings below ground level, that's like right in front of your eyes in every place on earth, so that you can think of. Anyways, beyond flat earth, we talked about a few things and the true history of humanity also. But after you got into flat earth, although before you were not a conspiracy theorist, but after that you must have become aware of there being a cabal of people controlling everything, and basically again when you dig deeper you find out that they are all Satanists and Luciferians and have occult teachings that they have been passing on from millennia, if not centuries at least. So where do you stand on all those topics about Illuminati in pop culture name, and to be specific, Freemasonry and Satanism, Luciferianism?
Yeah, so the first comment is, this world is ruled by wealth. Okay, this world is ruled by wealth, and it is ruled by only few people. This is very clear. I have also put out a video on how this has come about in pure economic terms, nothing fancy or any conspiracy theory, right? So that video is also there. The illusion of becoming super rich. Okay, you can look up for this video. And it is inevitable because the very nature of money leads to wealth concentration. Okay, the moment you bring in the concept of money, it concentrates on only few people's hands over time. This phenomena is inescapable again. So since money has been in use at least for 100 plus years as we know it, wealth concentration has been going on for a long time. Now it has reached a really very high peak, which means that only very, very few people are at the top and they are controlling the entire humanity. And they have a lot of tools in their disposal. One is money and the wealth distribution, then all kind of deceptions. And the most powerful tool they have is entertainment. Okay, this mindless, absolutely mindless zombie television, news media, and reality shows kind of entertainment, right? It really kills the human spirit. It really completely destroys the human soul. So once you are stuck into that, somebody else how to give you a hand, pull you out, and give you a tight slap, and then say, first look at what is happening. Somebody has to show us. Otherwise, it's impossible to come out. I am so fortunate that the guy in the vegan forum woke me up to that flat earth. Otherwise, I would have been a sheep all along, all my life. Oh, that would have, I can't even now think of the possibility. So, yes, these are all true. But I also come to realize that it is the very nature of the collective consciousness that we have, right? That also drives a lot of things. So, in a sense, when the conditions are correct, the corresponding entities and the situations manifest themselves. Okay. See, for example, I will give you two examples. If you cut a, let us say, if you just take a potato, you cut it in half, okay, and you put it face down. You clean the surface absolutely. It's a new potato, right? You put it face down in your and seal the box. Okay, seal that box. And then after say 1 month, you open it, and if you take the potato, you will see worms inside. You will see worms eating that surface of the potato which you put face down. Where did these worms come from? Do you think the potato had all kind of worm eggs over there? No, they manifested, the life manifested there, just as it is. Second thing, if suppose you take a person and leave him on a bed and don't move him at all for about let's say 3-4 days, and if you just roll him over, what do you see? You will see bed sores. You will see bed sores and red spots and other things. There will be inflammation and wounds that would have come up on the bottom side, right? Now, if you continue putting him on the same bed for 1 month, and if you roll him over, you will see again worms over there, right? Where did these worms come from? Where did these worms come from? So his entire blood and body had this worm, all this pupa and eggs inside? No. These worms manifested because the conditions were right. Okay, so my understanding of life itself has completely changed over time. Okay, so if these things are possible, then our biological understanding is very limited actually. So so why I am saying all this is that the wealth concentration and few people gaining control over the humanity has come about because we have collectively manifested all those conditions. Okay, we have made it right for you. As a collective consciousness. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Nice. So this tussle that you talked about is like 1.5 centuries old between Bechamp and Pasteur, and there's this book, basically a memoir written by, I don't remember the name, but it was written during that time only, and the title of that memoir is Bechamp versus Pasteur, and she details everything that went around in the life of Bechamp, how Bechamp came up with the original explanation to everything, and Pasteur was right behind him in order to copy it. And from then Bechamp went another direction when he said that no, germs are nothing, but Pasteur continued with germs being the cause of all diseases in our life. But Bechamp almost incontrovertibly proved at that point in time only that whatever you talked about. You seal a potato and then you see germs growing. So basically, those microzoas or microbes are already present there. They are not coming from the air outside, and the potato is not catching it from the environment like we are told. We catch a phony virus. Anyways, I wanted to talk more about this. Yes, sir.
Yeah, see, my other experience was through my own father. He was an MBBS FISCD doctor, and he was quite popular for the skin diseases, especially leprosy. So towards his retirement, about 10 years before his retirement, some sadhu said that he has to go to Ayurveda. So it stuck into his head, and then he turned to Ayurveda towards the end of his 20 years before his death. So, and he became very, very successful. So at that point in time, he was treating patients from Mumbai very successfully with Ayurveda, AIDS patients. So these guys used to come late in the evening. Okay, so they will come and they will quietly take the medicine and they will go away. So I used to ask him, who are these people and why are you even engaging with them at this time? All that. I said, no, they are AIDS, medicine for AIDS patients. They feel ashamed to come in the day, so that is why they are coming here. I said, what? Are you crazy? AIDS is caused by this HIV virus. And science clearly tells us that you cannot cure any virus things, right? How are you even giving medicine? Have you become a quack or something? I used to ask him. He just laughed at me and said, no, it is never caused by any virus. It is just a condition. So I'm just treating a condition. I'm making them healthier through this medicine and they will become okay. I said, no. It is so pathetic that you have been a doctor. You don't even understand viruses and all that nonsense, I told him. And he just ignored me and then he moved on. So only after Flat Earth, I was recalling all these conversations and said, wow, my goodness, here was the man who was actually treating people. And they were getting well, and I was like an idiot telling them that he is a quack. So, and he used to go and, before making medicine, he used to go and sit near the most important plants. Okay, so in each medicine, he used to put some 50, 60 plants, and some 2 or 3 are very important, right? So he will go sit next to the plant and meditate for half an hour. And then sometimes he will stand up and come back saying that the plant has not given him permission. So I never, even now, I don't understand how he was doing all that. And sometimes some patients will come, he will have the medicine ready in the cupboard. I knew because he would have just treated another patient. And to these people, for the exact same condition, he would say, I cannot treat you. Okay, I do not have the medicine to treat you. And he will send them back. And that would have been a very life-threatening things. And mostly life-threatening things only come to him actually. So I used to fight with him. I mean, how can you do this? You have the medicine right here, but why are you refusing to give that to that person? He said, no, that the treatment for that person is not through me. It has to be through somebody else. And some people, he will say, I don't think he will ever recover. So I have never understood this part of his way of living. But after this Flat Earth, after years passed over, now I have to rethink all this. And going back, I have to rethink all of this.
Nice. So that brings us to the topic of Corona and how things have changed over the past 1.5 years, and many of the things which used to be just crazy conspiracy theories are becoming realities every single day, right? That passes. So, do you think this whole Corona pandemic thing has proved to be a blessing in disguise for the entire truth movement in a way?
Absolutely, yeah. I fully agree with that point of view. Yeah, it has. Because so many people who otherwise would have never looked into this, now they are looking into and they are waking up big time. Oh, I really enjoy talking to such people. The numbers have been growing steadily. My only hope is that it grows enough before the complete takeover of the world. So I hope it happens.
have protests all over the world. Just yesterday we had such successful protests, and today it is there in West Bengal. In our Bengali daily, there was this very popular, one of the most circulated dailies in West Bengal, covered that story, that there were people, although they put it very negatively, and you know what, they just pretended that we overheard a few of the passers-by saying that these people should be put in jail and they should be tried and everything. So the newspaper is saying all these things in the name of कि we heard a few passers-by saying that they should be killed and sentenced to death and everything. Anyways, at least the word is spreading, and hopefully things should change in the future, and this has become kind of a gateway to Flat Earth also, because Flat Earth in and of itself is a gateway to the entire rabbit hole that is there, which is endless. So Corona in a way has become a gateway to Flat Earth, because I have come in contact with all the Flat Earthers only after Corona, and through Corona I have also met a few people in person there in West Bengal, and basically those people are now, after 6 months or a year that we interacted, when they got enough time, when they got their minds free from everything around Corona that we have to research in order to keep up to date. So now they are asking, can you suggest a few videos regarding Flat Earth? I just started looking into it and I really find it interesting. So it's so nice to help such already awakened people who already understand everything about the Satanists and their being a controlled government in every country of the world. So those people, when they are exposed to something like Flat Earth, they are more susceptible. It becomes more palatable to them. Now everything is possible. Now that they can pull off such a big pandemic, fooling billions of people, so even Flat Earth seems a possibility because of that. So anyways, my question to you would be, obviously I think you have kids and you must be against the vaccines and everything, but where do we go from here? Because life is becoming more and more difficult for an average person in what's happening these days. So what do you think, where this is going?
Clearly I see two kinds of people, Tapas. There are very few people who are at the verge of waking up. So for them, you just indicate to them that, hey, have you looked into Flat Earth? That's all. The one sentence is enough. They will wake up the rest of the things for themselves. But there are people who, if you really struggle with them and then tell them quite a few things, they will wake up. But that is only maybe 2% or 3% of the entire people in my own circle actually. The rest of the people will not wake up. Okay, so I find it very strange. You know, I tell them, they look at me and they comprehend the language. Okay, what I'm saying in English or Tamil, they comprehend. But the real meaning of what I'm saying never reaches them. Never. Even if I sit and explain to them for one whole day, it doesn't reach. The next day, they are back to square one, exactly how they were before. No sign of any additional understanding or the upside down change in worldview which happened with me and which is required to wake up, right? It never happens. So I have tried it with many people and I have drained myself again due to this conversation. But now I have reconciled with that kind of fact. So if it is worth spending my energy, I spend. Otherwise, let him or her keep going. That's it. So now I see that I am attracting similar people nowadays. Okay, so my circle has become smaller, obviously, and but I'm attracting the right kind of people, which I'm very pleased with. So I'm happy. That's it. So this is my reality, and that's all there is. We can't, rewrite history or change the entire world. We can change whom we can. Yeah.
I can so relate to every single word that you're saying right there. All Flat Earthers, I think, would have gone through all those phases in their journey. Anyways, so we will try to wrap it up in the next 10 to 15 minutes, which is why I wanted to get into a few Flat Earth arguments and maybe get to know your stand, your position on those. And obviously, the answer to every ball earth question is ultimately gravity, right? So, within gravity, what's interesting is flat earthers also debate on the topic of gravity amongst themselves, right? Within flat earth, also, two kinds of ideas, broadly speaking, exist. One is that it doesn't exist. There is only density and buoyancy, and there is no need for an imaginary force or anything called gravity. And then there is the other side, which claims that there has to be some kind of a force, and they call it a very weak force. Basically, the technical name for that would be incoherent dielectric magnetism. So basically, an electromagnetic kind of a force really does exist. Basically, this is the side presented by Globebusters and Bob Nodell of Globebusters, that he in a way makes fun of Nathan Oakley and all these other people who claim that gravity does not exist and gas molecules are basically not affected by gravity. They go in all different directions. So on this particular issue, what's your position and where do you think is to draw the line would be correct?
Yeah, so the first thing is there is a tendency for things to fall down to the earth. This is not explained by anybody. Okay, so even by flat earthers or globe earthers, simply we do not understand how this actually works. That is the bottom line. I have seen Bob Nodell's videos on this one, and even many other people have tried explaining this. But then they show electromagnetic effects at a smaller scales. Okay, and then they say that yeah, this is how it will work at the very large scale also. But then, hey, we are making the same mistake that globe earthers are now propagating all onto people, right? We don't know. We cannot verify any of that. So the electromagnetic theory is maybe true, maybe viable. I do not know, but it has not yet been proven. It has not even proven to be viable actually. But on the other hand, the electrical difference, potential difference between the earth and our atmosphere as you keep going up, that is very, very real. Okay, so that you can figure out by experimentation. So there are many people who have been doing these experiments, and every time the results is exactly the same. The potential difference is massive, and we should be able to extract free energy out of this potential difference. So people have been working on that. But again, whether that is the reason for the tendency of things to fall down, I don't know. I don't think so. I doubt it very much.
And I've come across people who tell me that students and scientists of IIT Madras are doing experiments on the seashore where they prove the curvature of the earth somehow by passing light through holes in lasers and everything. So that's all they need to know. Okay, they did it, that's it. I can tell the world that they did it. I do not need to look at
the first question is why are they doing curvature tests now when they already believe that they have satellites in the orbit? Right? Somebody has asked them that question. Why the hell are you worried about curvature now when you have satellites in orbit above the head? This is absolute nonsense.
Anyways, so we will not make it very long then. It will be approximately 45 to 50 minutes of interview, which will be good for my channel for the first interview. It was really nice talking to you, and we will bring an end to this by putting one final globe argument in front of you, and let's see how you defend it, right? So I've been listening to this one for the past few weeks or months, I would think, and this is something new that has come up and it is being used in debates of late. So basically they are using radar, okay, radar technology, Doppler radar technology, in order to bounce back signals, radar signals from the moon. And when they catch the signal back, they can calculate the time that it took for that beam to hit the moon and then come back, and their instruments to catch it again. And from that time they make some calculations based on the speed of light, and they come up with approximately the same distance as is assumed in the heliocentric model. So if that is a Glober's argument, what would you say?
Yeah, this is something which I busted I mean, at the initial days itself. Okay, the first thing is you have to go and look at what radar they have used for this sending a signal to moon and reflecting back. Okay, it is a very regular naval radar systems. Okay, the accuracy of this radar is about 10 to 20 miles. I mean, don't quote me on the number, but it's a very small number. And I can show you the chart where they have charted the accuracy versus distance of that particular radar equipment. They said they have modified it. Okay, so they have modified it and boosted up the power. But boosting up the power does not mean you can boost up the accuracy of that particular signal sending and returning back. It doesn't work like that. You know, that is why, I mean, even sound waves, if you look at it, why are high power amplifiers so expensive? Because it is not just simply a question of power, right? There are so many other factors that come in. And this particular radar has never been outfitted with any of the advanced equipment, advanced modules, which are really required to boost up the power to the kind of distances they are talking about. They have never done it. Okay, so I am again reference to the original radar papers and documentation. I have to dig it up from my Facebook postings. I'll send you across. So this is again, what do you say, just a blind climb. If you really deep dive into it, there is nothing, absolutely no material inside. It is just all hollow.
It's my bad that I've stopped using Facebook for the past 4 or 5 years. But even after I became a flat earther, it was like I had to do my duty by telling all my online Facebook friends that the earth is flat, because you know that quote, right? If I were to remain silent, I would be guilty of complicity, which is why I have to tell you guys. I wouldn't get after you that research it. I did that with really close friends and family, but not on Facebook at least. But after Corona, I did make a few posts, but usually I do not even open Facebook for months. Anyways, still, I would like to visit everything that is there on your Facebook and on your channel. And thank you so much, sir, for sparing your time to talk to me. And this would be an awesome video, and in a direction that I wanted my channel to go, because these things are happening all around the world. People, flat earthers from the Western world, really do talk to each other and come in each other channels. And what better thing can we do as flat earthers is to discuss amongst ourselves on various other topics. We did not really delve deeper into the topic of God and everything, but we have those conversations on our WhatsApp groups, and it's so enriching, right? We get to edify each other, learn from each other, so it's really nice. And I have a lot of respect for you. You have an open challenge to all the globe earthers here in India to prove that the earth is a globe. So glad to meet people like you. I never thought that this will ever become a reality, but finally here we are. I'm really glad, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Tapas. And I was just browsing through your channel, and then I saw your discussion with one engineer person. So it was so good. I ended up watching the whole show. Actually, that was terrific. I mean, I'm glad. I mean, I was trying to tell the same kind of response, but you are talking like exactly what I would have said at that time. That was awesome.
So that, was my first video. That was my first video, and the guy was my student, and I called him that I want to talk to you regarding something that completely outside our syllabus and whatever I teach you. Would you be interested? So that was the first video, and thank God I started doing that, because hadn't I done that at that point in time, I wouldn't be talking to you today, 2 years down the line. So thank God I did it, and after that on and off I've been putting a few videos, but for the past few months at least, after this whole corona and everything, I have met so many flat earthers that I've started interacting with them, and flat earth interactions are so enriching themselves that I can simply upload those discussions, and we try to cover a few topics. Like I said, I would like to know more about veganism, and maybe if you are comfortable with it, have a debate regarding veganism, maybe two people on the veganism side and two people who talk against it, and I will moderate the thing. So I have plans to do such things, and I am going to contact people in our WhatsApp group. But overall, the experience has become all the more interesting after coming in contact with so many like-minded people in the past few months, past 6 months I think. So once again, you shared your last thoughts. Any last thoughts, sir, before we depart?
No, it's great. I mean, this is awesome. So I'm so happy to have come across this one, and happy and thankful to have had this discussion with you, Tapas. Okay, so awesome.
Same here, sir. Really appreciate. Okay, chalo, let's end this
All
here
right.
now.
All right.
Upload
Yeah.
it soon. I'll be dying to upload it. Bye bye, sir. Have a good night.
Good night.